Good evening, everyone. I'm the evil developer. They had to have the superhero. My name is Alkarim Devani, and I'm from Calgary, Alberta. Generally speaking, I'm often embarrassed to share that, but with Doug Ford here, I feel good about myself. When Emma at first asked me to come down to talk to a bunch of Toronto urbanites, I said, "Are you sure? I'm from Calgary. Like, do these people want to hear from me?" So I'm incredibly thankful to be here and thankful for the Walrus to put on such an amazing an event and such an important topic. I do want to start with acknowledging the lands that I'm from. I feel an incredible deep sense of accountability, particularly as a developer, to make spaces more inclusive, accessible, regardless of race or socioeconomic status. As you can see on my slide, we are at an unprecedented and terror-citing time, I feel. I mean, everything is evolving at such an incredible pace, including our behaviors, habits, and social norms. You can work from home, skip the dishes, get Amazon at your door, metaverse, never have to leave your house. I feel like that's probably a conversation for another day, but we've proven to be incredibly adaptable and intelligent as a race, but still polarized by fear and negativity. And unfortunately, I don't have all the answers, but I'm actually pretty optimistic. The vast majority of people, I believe, are good. We all want to do the right thing. And so that being said, I have one small idea that I think can make a difference, and I'll talk about it through my story. These are my late parents, originally from Gujarat. They fled Uganda in the 70s during the time of Idi Amin. Neither of them spoke English, and when they arrived in Canada, my dad ended up getting a job at the CB Rail. He worked there for 30 years and retired and got his pension. And my mom started a very successful catering business. When they first arrived, they lived in an illegal secondary suite. This was the beauty of Canada, and I'm sure many of you have very similar stories, and I'm indebted to this place for that. Below, that's me and my brothers. I'm the fat, chubby guy with the jewels in the middle. And the guy with the buck teeth is my eldest brother, Afshin, who I co-founded Round Square with, which I'll talk about on my next slide. I want to talk about the homes that I grew up in. So on the top left corner, I lived here until I was in grade 3. Not very long, but I can still visualize it and remember it like it was yesterday. I remember lying in the grass and seeing the big, tall, mature trees dancing in the sun. I remember the tight streets, running, biking, ball hockey in the alleys. I remember how close my neighbors used to live. Almost too close at times because I'd get picked on for my house always smelling like curry, but I would give anything to have that back today. We knew everyone, and my parents felt comfortable with me crossing the lane and exploring the streets. The streets were tight, the cars were loaded out the back. And we used to walk to all the local dukans, my parents were called it, which were the shops. They were in abundance. And I couldn't help but feel like my parents knew this type of living when they used to live in India. However, like I said, my mom was always on the come up. She was an aspiring entrepreneur. Eventually, she bought this amazing home in this lakeside community. It was 2,000 square feet. We had the double-attached front-loaded garage, a massive yard. And I remember my whole family's like, yeah, we made it, we did it. But my memories of big trees and playing and knowing my neighbors started to fade. And I actually don't have vivid memories of living within this neighborhood. I do remember the shitty cul-de-sac and the lack of sidewalks and this green space in the middle that we never really knew what to do with. And I always thought that I was sad about my experience of moving because I missed my school and friends, but I realized as I reflect now, it was the power of planning. It was the power of actually being able to live close and be connected to one another and know your neighbors. And so like T.S. Eliot said, I'm back. This journey's brought me back to where I started, not only in my real estate career, but also where I love to live most in my life. And over the last 20 years, I've worked only in established areas. We went from building single-family homes to 200-unit apartments with heritage restorations. But like I said, I've arrived back at this amazing built form that I believe can make a huge difference in our lives. I recognize that apartments will always be wonderful, and the density is required specifically in cities like Toronto when there's so much pressure for housing. But I believe the missing middle housing that was sprinkled throughout some of our communities, but now which was widely found throughout Europe, was zoned out of existence. Due to dudes like this, Robert Moses and Harlan Bartholomew, who recognized minorities like myself love to live in multi-generational housings. And the way to segregate us was through single-family zoning. I think it's so important for us to unpack the past in order for us to move into the future. And my hope is that this housing forum can deliver housing diversity, that we can help serve people from all stages, ages, and wages. Like I said, this isn't no to apartments, it's both. We must deliver housing options and remove the vitriol that exists with redevelopment of single-family neighborhoods. As I mentioned, I am an optimist. However, with you folks recently loosening the belt versus doing the hard work, I do get nervous. And so I think it's important to note that gentle density is an absolute catalyst for change and can make a huge difference within our Canadian neighborhoods. And so this is my call to action. It's pretty simple. I think most believe that it's this generation that will actually cause the change to transpire. But I'm actually pretty confident these folks are going to be okay. They have ChatGPT and a bunch of other technology tools that will help them. It's actually these people that I'm most concerned about and I believe will actually cause the change that we need. I think our seniors, our elderly are often overlooked, and they actually own the vast majority of established area homes within these communities. I think it's important that we authentically talk about aging in place and finding ways to keep our seniors within these neighborhoods. And until we do, I don't believe this change is possible. We're talking about $70 trillion worth of wealth transfer. And although that's a quantitative value, my hope is that we can qualitatively make a difference, genuinely care about our seniors, and find a way to keep them within our existing communities. Thank you so much.